Okay, this is Crystal Wax. I'm at the hospital again. Think that I have ulcers or gallstone and hernia. I haven't. Today is my son's birthday, Anthony Maurice Verlin Jones. Happy birthday, Anthony. If you happen to see this video, Mom, love you. I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the trial in Houston. So I have to contact them about the murder of Antoine Lax. And then not Dominique Lax, the baby girl. It's like my whole family is purposely being attacked. People could call it whatever that they want. They haven't been believing me this far, so I don't expect anyone to believe me. Just like abusive men knew that people was going to treat us as like it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter, right? So Dominique was arrested on March the 9th. Again, over 20 times. Does that make sense? 20 times the sex trafficking cops. And no one, what, you want to believe a child molester? See, you know when I got molested as a child at the age of 12, what made me mad and angry and the reason why I really had a chip on my shoulder, because it's something about when you're speaking the truth. You know more than anybody what's going on around you. You know what's going on in the inside of you and everything and every detail that you have been experiencing. Now, I've been telling everyone since 2019, this is why I put on my blog, that the dates that I have filed complaints that probably got thrown away because some of these cops are family members. So you go make a complaint down to the police department, it doesn't reach the necessary people that it needs to reach. So I start, especially when you're in a very racist town, Muncie, Indiana, or these small towns. I happened to buy a house there. I didn't do my research. That was the worst thing that I did. I didn't do research, or I would have found out that that was one of the chapters of the Klansmen, the KKK. But it's always something that you can look up and verify. Everything that I say, I guarantee you that you can verify. So I started, I guess they wanted to attack us in this small town, and nobody had ever know. So I literally learned how to file and initiate federal district court procedure as a paralegal, because no attorney wanted to help me like now. No lawsuit attorney. My son was shot, murdered in the back, shot down on In-Town Suites Hotel. Everyone trying to act like it didn't happen. Well, this is how I feel. Why don't you let everybody kill and sex traffic people? If you are going to ignore me, and you're going to ignore all these criminal activities that have happened around me, why don't we just make new laws? Why don't we go to Congress and say that everyone have a right to shoot people in the back? And everyone have a right to grab your daughter, scheme, and plot, and do RICOs. And then all of a sudden your daughter come up missing around cops. Now, it's amazing how Dominique was arrested on March the 9th again. She complained about officers touching her. Are you saying that my daughter don't know what she's talking about? Several times this have happened. In Pahrump, Nevada, there was 3 cops touching her. Now she's not being heard from. The last place that we heard from her was Henderson Detention Jail Center. Now something happened while she was incarcerated there. And someone is not telling me the sound truth. They're hoping that, what are you hoping? That someone can have a baby And all of a sudden, as an adult, what you think, because you're white racist clans, do you think that you could just put stereotype, she's a crackhead, and just leave it as that? I mean, because that's getting worn out. I mean, they even call me a crackhead, and I'm not a crackhead. I'm a sick woman, but I'm not a crackhead. They even lie on you. So therefore, we're not thinking about the lies. We just want the truth. That baby ain't did nothing to neither one of them. They wanted to they wanted to rape her. And they want to sit up there and keep doing what they wanted to do. She got bones broken and everything. She's only 4'8" and 120 pounds. So how can she all the time be, quote and unquote, beating up these muscular, arm-built white cops? How is this possible? And you know, if a man in uniform, there's one thing to search you, then there's another thing to grope you. And if a man in uniform is groping you, the first reaction of a woman is to, don't touch me like that. That's your first reaction. They will call it resisting arrest because you're unwilling to play their game. So when Dominique don't play their game, they use their position and their authority to weaponize her. I guess to break her down. Back in the days, old pimps would call it breaking in a woman, and old slave masters would call breaking in a woman till you have broke them down. We're talking about men with abusive mind frame that can't see how abusive that they are. Now, I don't have to bargain with nobody about my daughter. I want to know what happened to her. I need answers. I know that everyone want to side with the cops. All cops are perfect. We never heard about any cops being on the news for sex trafficking. We never heard, never, on the news for a cop beating the hell out of his wife and brain damage her, brain injured her. We never heard this before. So we just believe that all cops are walking the straight line. And especially if I'm black and he's a white cop, right? So everything that this white cop says is squeaky clean. Nobody's supposed to believe you as a black woman. Everything that you say, there's a water down, or you don't know what you're talking about. See, this is why I bring up when people come across to me as if you don't know what you're talking about. If I don't know what I'm talking about, then I would never have worked in nobody nursing field for over 25 years. Life and death was in my hand if I didn't know what I was talking about. If I didn't know what I was talking about, there's no way that I could have passed a California state exam, paralegal exam. That's an attorney assistant. What does that tell you? There's a brain up there. I have a brain, and I use it. Now, my daughter just can't disappear. There's no way. This is an area where she was stranded. She was waiting on her ID. This is an area where heavy gambling, sex trafficking goes on there, even with the cops. So therefore, I, as a mother, is concerned about my daughter. She was supposed to have an early release on April the 15th, 2026. From the moment when they locked her up on March the 10th, it's almost like they already knew that they had a plan for her. And they used the judge for the remaining of their plan. So basically, a black woman, let me paint a picture. Maybe you'll get a better picture of what I'm trying to say. Dominique suffered with schizophrenia, but Dominique was under intense testing at the Lake Crossing Hospital in Sparks, Nevada. All those doctors deemed her as competent. As long as she takes some medicine, Dominique functioned very well. So she got released. That was about 2-3 weeks ago before she got arrested. 2 weeks ago. So now they released her, but she couldn't get on a plane because she didn't have an ID. So she was waiting on her ID, which is the 10th ID that needs to be replaced. Someone is always yanking Dominique's purse or taking her ID from her. Last ID was taken from her was by police, and they never gave her identification back to her. See, some of these people are not legal here. Some people, they found out that this one black guy was not a legal police officer, that he was using somebody else's identification. How he got past, I don't know. Now she's sitting at the park and just playing with her phone. She just got a new phone. So she's trying to work her phone. And here we go with cops approaching her in a public park. This is a public park. Everybody have a right to come to a public park. Now in Henderson, it is upper white and Hispanic that lives there that don't like black people. We are not going on racism don't exist, or we would not be going through this ongoing. I would not have went through what I went through living in the neighborhood if in the neighborhood with the KKK chapter, if it never exists. See, I think that this is where black people get mad with white people. Instead of hearing what they have to say, you want to water it down. Then you know what it makes it seem like? You seem like your ancestors to us. And it never solve a problem. You know, sometimes it's good to just sit back and just listen. You ain't got to believe. Just sit back and listen to a person. And then you start dissecting some of the things that they are saying. Because they may not say it as the way that you're expecting them to say it. But they are verbally expressing something for you to digest. When I was in a nursing facility, and you're working with all type of patients, well, sometimes patients could not just verbally express the pain or what's going on with them, so they would talk in a circle, but yet ow, and it's like, oh, okay, this part is hurting you, and then they're not. I mean, like, the form of communication is not always your way. People express themselves however that they can get it across. I do agree that when I was in pain yesterday, I was not nice to the nurses because it was just giving me a vibe. But it was also pain there, so I apologize for that. But this girl, well, my daughter is not a girl. She's 36-year-old. But they've been trying to look at her as if she's a 16-year-old and they don't hit the jackpot with their black slave girl and try to keep her in their loop. You understand? This is why so many black women are coming up missing. Either she's coming up missing because they're stealing the organs, or they're coming up missing because they have sex trafficked her. Nobody just keep coming up missing out of the blue, unless they're doing medical fraud. Now, if Lake Crossing deemed Dominique as competent, why in the hell would Dominique be locked back up in another facility? Is the judge involved in it? You remember that story on the news, regular news, where the sheriff went in and shot the judge because they all was into trafficking the inmates. But what happened was that the judge ended up getting his wife and his 17-year-old involved in the gang. And that's when the sheriff came in and shot him. You understand? So I would like to know, This was Judge Burr in Henderson, Nevada. I would like to know what happened to my daughter while she was incarcerated in Henderson Detention Center. Nobody just disappeared. And the last place she was located was at this location with nothing but white and white Hispanic. Now we heard the rant about the girl about saying the N word and made her feel good. This is the type of people, some of the people that we're dealing with over at Henderson, or we're dealing with white people that loves to manipulate somebody's mind that has disabilities or make them feel like they're obligated to do this. Dominique gets SSI or benefits. They try to stop her from getting her benefits, but she got an income. You understand? She got something for herself. She has an income. So for them to make her feel like you gotta prostitute yourself in order to get an income, no. We want to know what happened to Dominique. Last time, as everyone knows, I know that you're just about sick and tired as I am. Because everybody been asking, she's arrested again? Yes. If you go to the blog, you will see those federal complaints. I try to put them in order: 2020, 2021, 2022. Those are the number of times that I had to file in federal. And one female cop said that keep leaving paper trails behind you. And this is why. Because when all investigation comes to it, it shows that this is the state and the city, location, time, the date that I had to file of this harassment ongoing. So that's to back me up. That's a little bit of evidence to back me up. You understand? So this is why I had to do that, because it's almost like trash over Dominique, and there's no paperwork whatsoever of a complaint or us trying to reach out to people. This shows everything of me trying to reach out regarding her. I've been fighting these people off. One reason why I'm sick, fighting them off of my daughter, because they have been doing things like this, so she comes up missing. And my sister Rice, which worked in the psych hospitals, you know what I'm saying? She noticed this. Everybody is starting to notice this pattern about the girl that they don't want nobody to notice. Now, did you kill her? I mean, I'm not afraid to ask those rough questions as a mother, because I'm looking for an answer. Did you have other inmates beat on her? Is she a Jane Doe in a hospital somewhere? Damaged, beat. Why would you keep this from a mother if that happened? Is she dead? These are her questions, but I want to know. Did you kill her because she was a black woman in your jail cell? What happened to the body of Dominique Lax? Where's her physical body? She's not calling. We're talking about Dominique. Dominique calls me every day when she get a hold of her phone. Then her and I have this secret mom code. The secret mom code is that if there's no money on your books, then try to make an effort to call, collect. At least I know that you're okay and that you're alive. You understand? Last time there was a Frank Smith. I forgot to mention that in my blog. There was a Frank Smith that had her locked up in a facility like they purposely hid her from her mother. And that was in Indianapolis. I didn't know that he had her locked up like that. And we had her missing for 3 months. Now, either these people are looking on that medical part of throwing her in and out of the medical facility. Either that's Medicaid fraud or what. But I'm getting tired of this happening. And they have gotten away with it this long. And you don't reached out, you don't made your complaint. I'm sick of this. Now let's do the hard question. Is my daughter dead? You can't hide no more. Nobody gets up. Nobody just gets up and disappear. This is not Star Trek where somebody can beam you up. We want to know, did you make my daughter, Crystal Lack's daughter, another black woman missing in the United States? Did you? Did you? And it's amazing how you can just put your hands on other people, family members, and keep your family and love on your daughter. But you look at this from another perspective. The same way how you looked and aimed and want to touch and feel on my daughter, some of you got growing teenagers that's not grown women like mine's. You got growing teenagers. That means that there's always a man that's been watching your girl. Might have been your best friend. That's close in the family. You remember that. You can't be around them 24 hours, 7 damn days a week. We have a right to know answers.